Hello, everyone. We are recording this broadcast today, this class. This is the second module where we are talking about pitching your story. And right now we're talking to Ramona, who has reached out to a media outlet. Yay! And we're going to make sure she gets booked. All right, Ramona, last week we talked about focus, focus, focus. And I think reaching out to this Christian business connection,
Yes.
AM 16, hallelujah. I think this is great for you. I think this is great. But what's that one thing we want to focus on? See, in this case, you don't really have to have that holiday hook. You can almost talk about anything.
Okay.
This is in your wheelhouse right here.
Okay.
This is in your wheelhouse. Or have you created these cards? Because last week we talked about you creating these cards. Have you created them?
Not yet, but I've been thinking about the concepts that I want, and I'm going to, I think instead of me trying to do it myself, I'm going to go to somebody on Fiverr.
Okay.
To create them for me. So I should be able to get a turnaround within a day or so, 24 hours or so, and just go ahead and get those created. And then, but what I wanted to really do maybe is to have something where people can maybe come to de-stress, and maybe I can just share about stress and give them a coloring, like a stress relief party or something like that.
I like that idea. I like that idea. I really do. But I also think if you're going to talk about cards, coloring cards and stuff like that, I think that does have a TV element.
Okay.
But that you are going to have to, like I told Beverly and Tasha, you need to identify those public affairs shows in your market.
Okay.
And St. Louis is huge, huge. That's a big market. So just I would call around and just ask, hey, I'm interested in the public affairs shows that you guys have or that are on your air. Can you tell me what their names are and who the producer is?
Okay.
And they will tell you, because I think if you're going to talk about the holidays and stress and these cards that you've come up with, I think that that would be great. But I think because it has a visual element, I really think you need to go TV as well.
Okay. And I see a comment from Anthony, so thank you, Anthony.
Yes, Anthony writes, I was listening to Ramona last week and she can speak. Exactly. We just need Ramona to focus on one thing. If you get those cards done and you have an event, you are good to go. You are golden. It's just a matter of writing a press release that will get people there. If it's at your church, if it's at a community center, or someplace like that, I'm assuming that they could buy the cards and the event is free.
Right.
Yeah. Buy the sheets or whatever and create their Christmas cards or however you explain it. I really think that has a television element. Write down those public affairs shows and contact them and let them know what you're doing. And like I said, stress around this time of year is high because people feel like they need to be perfect for the holidays. They need to have the perfect home. They need to have the perfect decorations. Their children need to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect around the holidays. They want this holiday that just doesn't exist. So I think something like that would really be good. And I would call them at least a month out.
Okay, and I would, and I'm also thinking about helping people to create a legacy, because my tagline or the passion that I have is helping people to make their lives speak. Legacy, to leave a legacy. So I'm also thinking around the holidays, what's really important. How do you collect maybe your family's history? How do you maybe put together, your book, or, your quotes or things that you want to pass down. So some journaling element in here.
I think that's a good idea, but I want you to focus on this one thing. I want you
Okay.
to focus on the cards. I want you to focus on de-stressing. And you can throw in the fact that it's always a good idea to um, maybe start a journal or something around the holidays. That can be one thing, really. That can be one thing. So let me get you to focus on the cards. Once you get those in, I want you to DM me. I want you to
Okay.
direct message me and let me know.
Okay.
And make sure you've got a lot to do, because I really want you to start writing down those stations that have public affairs shows.
Okay.
So we need to get on their radar and create our press release so that we can go ahead and get seen.
Okay. So should I go ahead and try to book a space now?
You got to get your product first.
Okay, get the product first, and
Mm-hmm.
then once I get the product, then book a space before I reach out to the news media to say this is coming.
Let me see the product first.
Okay.
Then, maybe we can meet here on Zoom and you can kind of walk me through it
Okay.
before you do that. Because when you write your press release, I want you to have those cards available. I want you to have your event already set up. So when you go and they talk about stress during the holidays, we've got author and speaker Ramona Jones here to talk about an idea that that may really help a lot of people during the holidays. These are big. These are big. These cards, these coloring cards, adults going back into their childhood and coloring. Why did you do this? And then you explain why you did this, and if you can relate it to some kind of stress you have during the holidays, that'd be great.
Right.
We need to get our cards and set up our event first. Those are the first things we do. And then we create our press release. And then we start making contact. We need to make sure we have everything in place before we start reaching out.
Okay. But so the coloring cards, so what my goal is to have these, like, you can give them, you can color them and give them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, perfect. And I'm not sure how you will get those to people. How much are you going to charge for them? How many cards are they going to get? Is it going to come in a cute little gift box?
Well, that's what I've been working on as far as my business goes. So looking at all of that to put the kit together. But if I'm just printing them, then I could probably get them just shrink wrap. But I was thinking about I was thinking about doing a kit that had the markers.
Okay.
And the cards in them, but I think that'll be a whole lot to try to get done at this short a time. But I can have the coloring cards to the party. Then I would just supply the markers for people to sit and color and to listen, but they can buy their own. But eventually, I do want to have actual kits together.
Okay.
To have the cards. So I have some ideas for specific event kind of kits.
Okay. All right. I mean, I like the idea. I really do. And I think it will fly on TV. I think it will do well on radio.
Okay.
But let's get the product in house. Let's get it packaged. Let's get all of that done before we present it.
Okay.
And once you do that, I really think that this is a great way for you to get some coverage.
Okay.
Because you're talking about stress, and that's what those cards are all about, how to de-stress, how adults can de-stress, how to take them back to their childhood, the coloring and so forth. So, yeah, I like that. I really do. So let's work on our contact list.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. Okay? So you all have your assignments. And basically, it's going to come down to selling it. It's going to come down to not being nervous and selling it. So Beverly and Ramona and Tasha really look at those outlets that can benefit from what you have to offer.
Okay.
And I really think that it's public affairs shows right now. Eventually, you can get into becoming what we call an expert if they do a news story. But I would take advantage of really getting on these public affairs shows, because they give you at least 2 to 3 minutes to talk about you, your event, your product, your service. And if you had hired someone to do that, to look for that, for those spaces for you, to do the work for you, you'd be charged, anywhere from $500 to $2,000.
Okay.
If you had to hire somebody to do the publicity for you, to do all the legwork for you, that's a lot of money. You can do that on your own. You can do that on your own.
And let me ask you this, Val.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go on these shows and I'm talking about stress in my coloring cards, would that kind of pigeonhole me in as being a stress expert? Because I really want to be in a place where I'm helping people to make their lives speak, to kind of pull together those legacies, to create legacies in their lives.
I don't think so. I don't think it makes you a stress expert. I just think it makes you someone who has decided to come up with an outlet to help people de-stress. Because you're still Ramona, the author, the speaker, and it was something else. That's how you're going to be introduced.
Yes.
That's when they say, okay, she's done this, that, and the other. They're still going to put out your resume.
Okay.
And if they want to learn more about you, you tell them to go to your website. I have a website set up. If they want to talk more about XYZ, this only gets you in the door.
Okay.
This only gets you in the door. But we're going to focus. We're going to focus. We're going to focus. We're going to focus. And if you get that interview, you are not going to talk about anything else but those cards and who you are. And you're going to send them to the website, because you don't want to confuse people. You don't want to confuse them. You got a lot going on in your head. We don't want to. We want to do this one thing.
Okay.
This one thing. And when people see you at church, or they see you at the grocery store, they're going to say, "Oh, we saw you. We love those cards. Where can we get them?" And then you're going to tell them about how they can get the cards and stuff. And then you can say, I'm also available to talk about blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But, let's just be focused.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Gosh darn it. You guys have got to remind me to record. Okay, Anthony, you are going to work on setting up your story, which I think is just going to be phenomenal. Take a little time and push it closer to Thanksgiving and that time of year. Tasha, you have your homework. I'm going to do a little bit more research for you, because like you said, you are the brand. So we need to really concentrate on who you are, what you can provide, and then kind of back into your book and so forth. And Beverly, you have your homework. We're going to identify the public relations, public affairs programs in your community and talk about helping students become better speakers, scholarship money, and all of that stuff, because this is still a brand new effort for you. How many students do you have, Beverly? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay, I have 13 right now.
Okay, that's good. And what are their ages?
8, and the oldest is 14.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? Any other questions? Your other module will go out on Monday, and we'll of course have our interview. That's the interview. Module 3 is about the interview. We've got 7 tips to help you with the interview, how to get a second interview. Just kind of talk about, once you get your interview, what you need to do next.
Valerie, I'll just say thank you, because I feel like this class is going to help me finally answer that question, what is my expertise?
I hope so. I really do. I think we're just going to have it. It's got to be all in the pitch for you. Mm-hmm. It's all in the pitch. And I saw your interview with Melissa, which I thought you did a great job. You looked great. You handled it well. And taking little bits and pieces from those interviews that you do and creating a really good sizzle reel, I think that's going to speak volumes.
Thank you.
are. You
Thank
just gotta pick out the best parts of it,
Yeah.
put it in a sizzle, and make it about a minute. I would make it about a minute. In and out, in and out. You're saying this. You're laughing about this because this is a great point. I think you could do well from a sizzle reel as well. But yeah, let me do a little bit more research on how we can position you as an expert, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think selling the books and speaking and selling your course will come easy, but we've got to put you in a position to be an expert. When something happens, people need to be able to call you up and say, we've got life coach here, Tasha, and she's going to tell us about, this crisis and how to handle this and what women need to do. We've got to somehow put you in that position. And it may start with radio. You may not be ready to do TV just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But radio is always good.
Okay.
Always. Any other questions? Anthony, you have any questions?
I got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ramona.
Yeah, and speaking of becoming an expert, that's kind of where I am as well, trying to figure out what it is that I do and to articulate that in a way, because a lot of times I do help people as well, especially on the spiritual side of maturity and, doing small groups and different things like that, and especially in ministry, inner healing ministry. Mm-hmm. And that's so nebulous. And people don't really get that. But I'm trying to really find a way to really position myself as an expert, or in a way that people can, connect with me.
Mm-hmm. And last week we talked about getting pictures of you at different events and stuff like that. Still kind of capitalize on that. I think that's a great way. And every time you've got to be event driven. Once you have those events and you have free events, then you can get coverage that way. I think this Christian network is going to be good for you since it's Christian based. But look beyond that, because I know St. Louis has I need you on FM.
Okay.
I need you on FM. AM is okay, but I need you on FM.
Okay.
Okay. Explore the different mediums that you have in your market. And something else that would be great for you to do. They did this in Birmingham when I was there. They had a guy who would come on and drop these little nuggets about life, and they were probably about 30 seconds long. And I would listen to them on my way to church, and they were just so good.
Okay.
They were just so good. He would come on and say something like, life is not always going to be fair, but here are some things you can remember to get in the game and stay in the game. And he would give us a little list, and he'd tag out by saying, I'm so-and-so. And he had his little tagline, but it was so memorable.
Okay.
I can remember seeing him out one day and saying, you just don't know how much that means to me to be able to get those little nuggets, as I'm driving in my car, because I was like 30 minutes away from my church, 30, 40, almost 45 minutes it seemed like. Okay. And just to be driving and hearing him talk about that. So those are things you can also kind of concentrate on too. And Tasha, that's also a good way for you to partner with a radio station to do something like that. Something inspirational for women. Just like, 30 seconds of wisdom from you. Hi, I'm Tasha, da, da, da. And, women get a bad rap. How we can get we're moms and we're so busy. Take some time to do something spiritual that can get us going.
Yeah.
And, that may be a good way that you could partner with the radio station to do something like that.
Good.
Do one or two, because all you have to do is record them like at the beginning of the month.
Mm-hmm.
They'll run throughout the day on a radio station.
Yeah.
You can record like about 5 to 6, and they'll switch them up. Yeah, but that's something that you may want to think about, and that could also position you as an expert in a particular field.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
Also, I have a book with over 300 old sayings and Bible scriptures and adages.
There you go. There you go.
From that and drop those.
Yeah. Yeah. These were great. I really enjoyed listening to them. But you got to find what medium would benefit from that. What audience would benefit from that? I enjoyed it because I had a long commute to church on Sunday. And so when I would hear those, it was like, that is so well written. And I was, of course, listening to it in another way too. You know, how was he going to connect it and all of that. So I was listening with a critical ear. But those things make a big difference too. You know, you need to look at audiences, Christian audiences, audiences that have a lot of women listeners. I think those are probably the two audiences both you and Ramona can kind of get some mileage out of, Tasha.
Okay, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions? No? Okay. Y'all let me know early on if you have any problems getting your module, or if you have a hard time opening up the module or anything like that, so I can take care of it. But we are really reaching the end, and then we'll start kind of scheduling our one-on-ones and kind of go from there. Okay? All right. Well, if there are no other questions, Anthony, you got any questions?
No.
Okay.
I'm fine.
That's okay. If we have no other questions, I am going to end the meeting, and I am going to put it on Facebook in our group, and you guys can go back and listen to it if you need to. And that's going to do it. Thank you guys so very much, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye everybody.
All right.